grab your writing and then show you pay keen attention to what our speaker will be saying. So just before we go on to introduce our speaker, I would just like us to share brief insights of what we learned yesterday. I believe some of us were around our speakers. We learned about financial intelligence. So anyone just like to hear from someone? If you want to speak, you can just unmute your mic and speak. I can see Doris, I can see Dominion. Sorry, confirm if you can hear me, please.
Yes, you're audible.
All right. Doris or Dominion, if you're around this today, can you just give us probably a briefing of what you learned yesterday?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So, from yesterday's work, we learned about finance. Let me just say finance. Okay. So everything that has to do with finance, and we started by defining what finance is. Then later went into defining what financial integrity means. But to be brief, or I don't know, because of time, I'll just quickly go to the points that I learned from yesterday. So the point that I learned, I wrote it down from the second speaker, Mr. Victor. I can't pronounce the other name. Okay, so he made mention of three things that the factor that enables us to succeed financially are: one, God factor, the skills that we have, and then relationship. So he later explained how that without the skills, you can have skills, and if you don't have that relationship, you can't move on. Then finally, when he then talked about volume times skills equals to outcome. So that means that we have to do volume. That means we need to get more people multiplied with the skills that we can offer to them is what can give us a positive outcome, a better outcome financially, can help us to have a financial breakthrough. And so that's what one of the things that I learned yesterday. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dominion. It shows that you're actively paying attention yesterday. All right. So not wasting much of our time, I'll be handing over to our moderator for today, Miss Faith Serena. Over to you, ma.
All right, good evening, everyone. You're welcome to another day in this leadership program. It's really exciting. I don't know if we've done the opening prayer. Mr. Michael, have we done the opening prayer? Sorry.
Not yet.
Okay, ma. All right. Okay, before we proceed, I would love us to have a word of prayer. In Jesus' name, Father, we thank you for another wonderful day. We thank you for this wonderful time once again to learn. We pray and ask the Lord, may you give us the understanding in the name of Jesus. But as we're going to start, may you start and end with us in the mighty name of Jesus we've prayed. Amen. And amen. So good evening once again. How are we all doing? How is everything going with us? So welcome to another inspiring session in this leadership program. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm sure we are also excited. So I trust me, you're going to be learning a lot today, because today promises to be a very, very transformative session. And as leaders, we are going to be discussing something that is very, very important. Yes, it's something that can't really be overemphasized. So we'll be dealing with communication, and it's something that we really can, even if you're not even a leader, in our daily lives, we actually communicate. So I've come to understand something that, and it's the fact that the greatest leaders in history were not just smart or strategic. They have the power to communicate, like they have the power to communicate their ideas that move people, influence change, and build trust. And so that's what we'll be exploring today. So I want us to sit back and enjoy ourselves. So my name is Serena Faith Enokela, and I'll be your moderator for today. I'm an entrepreneur, and also a mechanical engineering graduate, a recent graduate from Federal University of Technology, Mina. So by the end of this section, you'll get to understand what communication is, and you'll be able to walk away with practical tools to communicate effectively with influence and impact. So I want us to buckle up, because today is just not another training, but it's an opportunity for us to sharpen that skill that will define our leadership. Hope we are all with me. A quick one before we continue. Please, I would please do ensure your microphones are muted to avoid distractions. And I would really love us to use the chat box effectively and actively. For the questions and answers, you can drop your questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand. Thank you. So before we actually welcome the speaker, we would be doing a recap of yesterday's session. So yesterday we're able to talk about our finances. Yes. So and our speakers broke down basic financial skills, and they revealed smart ways to actually multiply our money and build wealth. So I would love one of us to tell us what he or she learned yesterday, or what was that striking thing that really resonated with you in yesterday's session. So the floor is open for anyone. Okay. It seems nobody wants to talk. All right then. Okay, without taking much time, we'll move to the next agenda. So okay, I would sorry, excuse me. So we have an amazing personality in the building that will be guiding us into a very impactful conversation tonight. So I would be introducing the speaker, and her name is Ogoin Olem Oruene. Please pardon me if I'm not getting the pronunciation right, please. So let me put up the bio. Give me some minutes, please. So She's a distinguished multi-potentialite with expertise in industrial hygiene and management system auditing. Can we all see it? Tracy can see it. All right, thank you. So she's a distinguished multi-potentialite with expertise in industrial hygiene and management systems auditing, and her passion for excellence and continuous improvement is evident in her strategic analytical approach to every pursuit. She joined Toastmasters International in 2019, and is driven by her belief in the power of effective communication and leadership. As VP Public Relations from 2023 to 2024 for Pecton Toastmasters Club, she significantly boosted the club's visibility. Currently, she serves as VP Education, fostering member growth and engagement. Ongoing Olen Urene's dedication has earned her numerous accolades, including Division F's Most Outstanding Toastmaster 2024, Most Engaging Toastmaster, Most Supportive Toastmaster, and awards for members' sponsorship and recognition for Excellence Award. Outside of work and Toastmasters, she enjoys playing volleyball and collecting quickie items. She lives by the quote, practice like you've never lost and play like you've never won, by Michael Jordan. So we'll be welcoming our speaker, and I want us to do it with a clapping emoji. So I want us to put it in our chat box. I'll be welcoming our speaker now. So let's welcome our amazing speaker that will be educating us tonight. So please let's clap. I want to see our virtual clap. I can't see anyone clapping. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you so very much, Faith. And it's still afternoon by the standards with which I work with. Thank you so much for the warmth in that introduction. Good evening, everyone. And I see that the number is really small, so I would make this very informal so that we're all comfortable. The way the session is going to run is we're going to make it very interactive because I feel if you're not engaged, then you're not learning. You'll probably be distracted by something else you're doing. I would encourage you to turn on your videos if you can, and if you're where you can. Part of how you communicate effectively, especially on video calls, is actually turning on your videos so people can see you. We're not in the same room, so we can't connect emotionally. The other best thing that happens is when we have videos on. Thank you so much, Faith, for doing that. It keeps us closer. You can see my face. I dressed up for you guys so you can imagine. Yeah. So just getting people to turn on their videos will be nice to see. I have been charged by your your coordinator. Oh, you've not been hearing me?
No, ma, but we can hear you now.
Sorry. So I was saying thank you for turning on your videos. one of the tips for effective communication when you're on video call in meetings like this is actually turning on your videos. People connect more emotionally with you when they can put a face to the person who is speaking. So it's one great way to effectively communicate on virtual calls. I was saying that I'm sure everybody here can communicate. So basically, what we're here to do today is refine how we engage. You have been doing it a certain way. Today, you get to pick up skills that you didn't know you could use, or you knew you could use, but you're not using efficiently, or had absolutely no idea about what it is. Your coordinators have charged me with the responsibility of um, talking about effective communication and influence and understanding professional communication, also getting you to understand what it means to have balanced communication skills and what some of the tools can be. Like I said, we're going to make this very interactive. The number is small. So you would have breakout sessions where I would give you simple tasks. You will go work together and then you come back and report in the main room so that everybody's hands is on deck. To start this session, I would like to start with a poll. And I want to ask you guys just two very quick questions. First one is, what are you, a fresh grad, a final year student, or a lifelong learner who just decided to join the call so you could improve yourself? I would like to see the responses coming. I've seen 1, 2, 3. We're 8 on the call, so let's keep it coming. I'm the only person. Okay, my second device is here as well. All right, let's keep it coming. So I expect six responses at a minimum. Okay. So it seems like we've got mostly others who aren't fresh grads or final year students. Ah, okay. Dominion says he's a final. Is he a he or she? Dominion, are you a he or she? You can unmute and speak. Oh, it's a he. So Dominion says he's a final year student. So we've got that nice distribution between fresh grads, a final year student, and others on the call. So I'm just going to end this. And this is what we've got. So it's like 50-50, but in reality, really not 50-50, maybe 50-25-25. That's how that would have played out. The second question I would like to ask you before we progress with this is, have you ever been misunderstood while having a conversation with someone? Ever? Ah, I see a yes. Yeah, let's see what all 5 responses will be. Okay. We have just 3 people. Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much. So we've got everybody saying that they've been misunderstood at one point in time or the other. How did that make you feel? And I want you to, now this is the part where you can unmute. So I don't want people chatting in there. We're going to get you to start working the tips that you want to learn. So I need someone to give me a response. How did it make you feel when what you said versus what was understood were 2 different things? How did it make you feel? Anybody wants to go?
Okay, I think I will just go. I
Hmm.
feel very sad, in fact, angry, I'm frustrated.
Great. So you were angry and you were frustrated because it felt like what you said did not make sense to somebody, and that's why they did something completely different from what you had said. I don't think
Exactly.
that, yeah, so I don't really even think that this is unique to you, right? This is not unique to you. This is something that could possibly happen to anyone, and that's what we all experience every now and then. So the question then is, why is effective communication very important? Why does it matter? Communication is really like your career's real currency right now. And if you're a fresh grad on this call or you've been out of school for a bit, you would realize that your first class graduates may not have jobs, but third class graduates have jobs. Those with 2 2s have jobs, those with 2 1s don't. And usually, when you ask certain questions, it really isn't about the technical skills they have or lack of thereof. Most times, it's almost about who can market what they can do versus who can't. So it is a very important skill to have because that's how you sell what you know. There is a stat that says that 85% of job successes comes from well-developed soft skills and not just technical skills. And I'll give you instances. It happens in the industry. If you talk to your friends who are HR professionals, they'll tell you. You can have two people who are very competent at a job. In fact, you might even score higher than the other person in the technical aspect. But when you get to the HR part where you have to talk about people relations, people management, people engagement, conflict resolution, etc., you then find that the person who scores higher there generally almost always tends to get the job. And then you now come out and say, oh, your village people are following you, or somebody, did not do what they were supposed to do, and you think that the process is unfair. Grace Joseph, please, can you mute yourself? Rufus, please, can you help me mute her?
At least.
Okay, thank you. So that's pretty much what happens. So it's not far-fetched, and that's why we say that your technical skills on its own would not get you very far. You would need to know how to communicate what you can do as effectively as possible. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share something very quickly with you. And I want you to answer me, what do you think went wrong in this video you're about to see? What do you think went wrong?
How's my son?
He's going to be all right.
Oh, finally, some good news
There's
from
no
this
other way
guy.
to take that.
That's a great attitude. I gotta tell you, if I was getting this news, I don't know that I'd take it this well.
But you said he was all right.
Yes, he's lost his left hand, so he's going to be all right.
You son of a bitch! I hate this doctor!
He's a very literal man. Yes, come here. That's more the way I would take the news.
Oh, this guy again.
How is he, doctor? It looks like he's dead.
Oh my God!
Oh, little guy. The tears aren't coming. The tears just aren't coming.
Just to be clear, it looks like he's dead or he is dead?
It just looks like he's dead. He's got, like, blue paint on him or something. But he's going to be fine. What is wrong with you?
Doctor!
All right. So, what did you think went wrong there? What do you think happened there? I want you guys to unmute and speak. What do you think happened there? Anybody? Faith, if you're speaking, you're muted.
Okay, I think the problem there is he wasn't clear. He didn't communicate effectively, and how it felt like he was being, should I say, ambiguous or something like that. So he wasn't really stating the main thing. That's to me.
You're very spot on. Any other takes on this one? Doris, I saw you laughing. Any takes on this one? Please feel free to unmute and speak.
Good evening, Ma. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
It's quite funny though because the way he was communicating came out the wrong way entirely. Like he was trying to communicate the right thing, but at the same time passing on the wrong information at the same time. Didn't make any sense.
Yes. So that's exactly what it is. Most times when what we call miscommunications happen, it's not because the person intentionally wants to mislead you or the person doesn't want to understand what it is you've said. In that video, that guy clearly came out in a case that was an emergency case and said the person who had been hit was going to be all right. And then everybody just naturally assumed that the guy was going to be fine. Now, based on their non-verbal reaction, he said, I don't think I'll take this as good as you're taking this. And you're like, oh, but we thought you said he's going to be all right. That's when he now explained and said, we've amputated his left part, so he's going to be left with only his right part. And that was when they understood him and then they started yelling. Now he returned the second time, knowing that these people were going to lynch on him if he doesn't explain himself properly. So he tried not to make it look like it was bad news. And then he shows up and he says, it looks like the guy is dead. And the second time, I had learned the lesson around clear communication, active listening, and asking the right questions. And that person said, is it that he looks like he's dead or he's really dead? And then he says, looks like he's dead because there's some blue paint on him, but he's going to survive. Right? So now you see how easily something that could have been easily said and, and said properly could have led to a very serious issue. So miscommunication generally would lead to different interpretations, which is clearly what we saw in that video. And when that happens, you can have conflicts, you can have incidents, really. A lot can go wrong when that happens. And this is where active listening comes in. So sometimes when people say things to you, listen really to what they're saying. So you're able to ask questions that clarify whether what they're saying is what it is. Sometimes, in fact, repeat to them and say, are you saying, or is this what you meant when you said? And then they will not be like, oh, yes, or oh, no, 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 that's not what I meant. This is what I meant by what I say. So, in every professional space, the truth of the matter is how you say something matters as much as what you say. I know that you think that this is cliche and we say it all the time, but how you say something is as important as what you say. So we're going to go now to just look at the overview of how this is going to progress. We will look at understanding some exploring core principles of effective interaction. We will look at from workplace communication, examples, discovering the art of influence, and then some bonus things around what your coordinators had asked for. So to talk a bit about cold emailing, bridging the gap of communication, overcoming fear of public speaking, and giving an elevator, how to draft an elevator pitch or how to deliver one. So with that said, I would want us to look at what it means to communicate in a professional context. The difference between some people getting jobs and not getting jobs is actually how they have framed the conversation. If how you sent your email sounds casual when it's supposed to sound professional, odds are it's the reason nobody responded or returned back to you with an email. So there is a thin line between casual conversations and professional communication. And what really it's about is formality and purpose. Professional comms generally it's clear. The tone is respectful. You would have clarity, the tone is respectful. You go straight to the point most of the time because you're something. So you just say what it is that you want or what it is you can do. And then if you were in a real life scenario where you were speaking to someone, you would have to practice active listening because it is there that you get clarity to give the right responses to whatever questions are being asked. What are some of the core principles of communication? Generally, there are four of them. And we'll start first with clarity, being clear and understandable. Now, you would think that in the world filled with so much that everybody would know what it means to be clear. But you see, we walk around with the illusion that communication has happened when really it hasn't. So you have to use very simple terms to explain yourself. The second part is you have to avoid using jargons and ambiguities. So, for instance, if you went to a conference and you were making a presentation, if you were a medical conference, you could use your medical jargons and it will be understandable. But imagine a couple of young teenagers or aspiring teenagers who want to become engineers or something else, or like a career fair of some sort. And then you're using medical jargons to make illustrations and stuff. You can clearly miss the target and mislead people with what it is that you're saying. Ambiguities can cause misunderstanding. So say it as it is. If you say someone is a criminal, don't say he's a criminal. Is he a pickpocket? Is he an armed robber? When you say the meal is nice or somebody had a fantastic dinner for party A can be gari with granules. Fantastic dinner can be spaghetti bolognese. Fantastic dinner can be hot smoky jollof rice. You see, where you are able to say things as they are, people then get a clear picture and are able to do what you want them to do with that information you're providing rather. Brevity is everything. In professional brevity is everything. Don't go around the bush. Don't try to be too polite because in your head you're thinking, oh, say too many mas or sas, then it's not. No. Go straight to the point, especially when you're emailing. Go straight to the point. Nobody has time. People are busy. So go straight to the point and keep it brief. Tone and respect. This is very, very important, especially in our clients as Nigerians. We're very big on respect. We've got the thing around hierarchy and culture and the rest of it. So, I mean, if you walk into an international oil company, they would say, call me by my first name. And they're okay with it. But, I mean, if you think about it, they did not born you well to enter your lecturer's office now and just call him Fatunde Fatona. I came here to submit my project. Yeah, they are not okay. Or that HR person in the Nigerian company and tell the person that Mr. Akintunde, I came to submit my resume. That's how you lost the job. You have not even started me. So, but if you were doing this in a space where the culture was totally different, it would have been perceived as normal. So you need to know that when you're writing or crafting your emails or communicating professionally, this is very, very important. Always match your tone to your audience. Active can't even say this enough. Yeah. You have to listen to understand, not because you want to reply, not because you want to speak. You have to listen to understand before you speak. And I'm going to play another video now for us to see. And then you just tell me what happened in that video.
There's a boat filled with people, yet there's not a single person on board. How is that possible?
It doesn't make sense.
Say it again.
There's a boat filled with people, yet there's not a single person on board.
Are there ghosts?
What?
Are they ghosts? Wait,
No.
Wait, I think I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
There's a boat filled with people,
Boat filled with people.
okay?
Yeah.
But there's not a single person on board.
Joe, that doesn't make sense. It's a boat filled with people. It's filled with people, and there's not a single person on board. It doesn't make sense.
So again, I'll ask you, what do you think happened there? And did anybody catch up on what he was missing? Anyone? Guys, you guys are too quiet though in this session. I will soon stop talking now. Just tell Rufus that I'm going to my house. Anyone?
Well, good evening. No.
Evening.
Hello.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
good to see your fine face. Yes, I can hear you. My brother, continue.
He said there's a boat filled with people, and
Yes.
there's nobody on board. When
Yeah.
you talk about somebody being on board, you're talking about ship, not boats. Boats can be all these small, small canoe that people will just enter inside and rest. So that's what I see from there. That's what I get. That's what I got.
Okay. So just to save time, right? The statement was that there's a boat filled with people, yet there's not a single person on board. If you were listening actively, the first thing that would have come to your mind is this doesn't make sense. Then you now say, okay, there has to be a catch. For this person to be asking this question, there has to be a catch. So what am I missing? And then you go back again.
All right. I think sorry. I think I have it now. I think I have it now. Oh my goodness. Like I just had a light bulb moment.
All right, go ahead and share.
So there are people on the boat, but not a single person. In terms of status, single, married, right? Oh.
Exactly. So what it meant was that everybody on the boat is married. You get it now? Everybody on the boat is married. But There's no single person on. It makes sense. If everybody's married, then it means there's no single person on board. Now, it means that it would take you listening to this a couple of times for you to make sense out of it. And in a real life scenario, really, if you were practicing active listening, you can then ask for the person to clarify. This is a bit confusing. How is it that the boat is filled with people and there's no single person on board? Person can now say, "Oh, no, no, no. I was referring to the fact that the people on board were all married, and that's why you don't have single people." And that now makes sense. So when you hear things, when you listen to people speak, you don't have to just, as they said it passes and it goes. No. When people speak, try to understand the context in which they're speaking and what they're saying, because that's exactly how you then respond. So imagine how the man was responding, because that's how you understood it. And the guy said, it doesn't make sense. And if you leave him there, he's probably going to keep screaming, it doesn't make sense. And that's how it can be for us sometimes. And which is why your manager can ask you to do something else and you end up doing something else, and you show up at the meeting and it's like, what's wrong with this fool? Right? Because your manager didn't communicate properly, but you also didn't seek clarity so that you could engage properly. So I guess that point there is noted. So let's look at a few workplace examples. And a good place to start will be looking at email etiquette. I don't know some of the worst emails in the world where people just write stuff. I'm going to show us an example of a bad email, and I want you guys to what you think is wrong with the email, and in your mind's eye, how you think this could have been done better. So for you to be able to communicate effectively, your emails have to maintain professionalism, they have to be clear. And when you are in meetings and you're introducing people, your introductory practices has to be top notch. What does that mean? It means that when I want to introduce Ogbain Dominion, for instance, before I come to that meeting, I need to ask Dominion, how do you pronounce your surname? If I don't know how to pronounce it. So when I come and I call his name, I do so with confidence. And Dominion smiles because his surname is probably not so common and not many people pronounce it the right way. So when I call it the right way, he's like, oh yeah, she got it right. That's how it works. So you have to be that intentional with how you introduce yourself and other people. And you have to keep it respectful. So you cannot be introducing somebody and be saying, oh, Ekuchi James, that's crackhead. And you laugh because you know her. It's a formal meeting. It's a professional environment. So when you introduce her, you have to introduce her as Ekuchi Joy James. That's the person that she is before any other thing. Okay. Then meeting best practices. You don't turn up for meetings unprepared. And please don't beyond today, don't be part of the people who show up for meetings like we have some people on this call. And I'm hoping that all of us will repent before we finish. Where you come for an event and you're just a fly on the wall. The entire time, people are talking around your head and you're not making any contributions. You're just seated in the meeting. Nobody gets to hear your voice. Therefore, if there were an opportunity for people to get promoted, heard, involved, engaged, paid, whatever it is, nobody remembers you because they didn't hear your voice. So please, let's make active engagement during meetings a thing. But here's the trick. The reason sometimes you don't want to speak in these meetings is also because you're not prepared. You don't know what it is you want to say. So there's a fear of, what if I go there and go and fall my hand? What if I go and say something that's going to make me stupid? So you keep quiet the entire time. So if you know there's going to be a meeting, try and just look up a few things so that when you come to the meeting and people are doing stuff, even if you're not contributing, if you listen enough, you can actually ask questions that may help provide clarity that some other persons don't want to ask in the meeting. Okay, so let's take our first example of what a bad email etiquette looks like. Now, this is somebody looking for a job opportunity in the company, and this is what they put together. The subject of the email says job vacancy. Good afternoon, sir/ma. My name is Joy. I just finished from Unilag accounting department. I'm a very hardworking and serious person. Please, do you have vacancy in your company so I can work there? I can do any job that you give me. Kindly reply me as soon as possible. Thanks, Joy. I almost had T for thanks in my head when I read this. Now, to this person, they've crafted, right, an email that should work and make sense. Can anybody tell me what they think is bad about this email?
So,
okay,
the thing that is bad.
Sorry, Mojo, then after Mojo, who was the next person who wanted to speak? You can then come after Mojo. So go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, ma.
Okay.
So the thing that is bad about the email is the wrong choice of words, and she's
Mm,
not straight to the point. She's not straight to the
mm,
point. She's not direct. She's not specific on the job role she wants to apply for or she wants to get. So that's my take
mm.
on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mojo. Mojo. The next person who wanted to speak.
Okay, good evening, ma.
Evening.
Um, for me, I would say probably her approach to the
Mm,
whole thing. She introduced herself here and just like straight to the point. She was kind of, should I say, the way she made the thing look was like anything goes. Her
mm.
values and all of that. Not like you're being proud, but then I feel she should have made more efforts on what she could offer to the company rather than saying, okay, anything will just go. I don't know. It's just off for me. Thank you,
Very
ma'am.
valid point you've raised. Very valid point both of you raised here. So first things first, this could have been worse, which is this person could have written this email without even the greeting of good afternoon, sir or ma, and clearly not even said thanks at the end. They could have just written, my name is Joy, and continued to possible. But in this scenario, they were polite enough to greet and then to close with a polite closing. But let's take the top job vacancy. What does that even mean? Every company sees this daily. So if you're not even sure of the position you're even looking for, how are they sure that you even know what it is you're looking for? The second bit here is the sa/ma. What this just tells whoever is reading this is that it shows that you've not made any effort to even know the name of the addressee. And what that means is that it's very impersonal. So again, another issue. Then the last speaker we just spoke here talked about how to informal. As a matter of fact, it even sounds desperate. I can do any job you give me. Sounds very, very desperate. Then there is no structure. You just jump straight to asking for your job. You don't give any background or anything like that. And no professionalism. Your LinkedIn contact is not here, not your phone, not a request for one, just straight to the point like that. So let's take a look at what a good one then looks like. Okay? So in this one, your header clearly communicates what you want, which is I want to inquire about an entry level role in finance at, give an example, ExxonMobil. Dear Shola, my name is Joy Adeyemi. You notice now that the name is in full, giving statements like I recently graduated with a degree in accounting from University of Lagos. So you saw how Unilag was written there and how this is really. Now this person is now giving a reason. So you're now tailoring what you're here for. You have told us who you are, where you studied. Now person is saying, I have strong interest in starting a career in finance and I admire the innovative work that your company does. And you will have to tell them what it is. I would like to inquire if there are any current or upcoming roles in your team. I will be glad to share my resume with you for review my academic background. Now, this is somebody who has given careful thoughts to what it is they were coming here to do, and they've done exactly that. This is how you should craft an email that is professional. Anybody who sees this knows that you mean business and you're serious. Now, with that said, does anyone have any questions before I segue to the next um, part? Any questions? Okay, I take silence as no question.
Okay,
The
yeah,
second
I
bit
have
is
one.
okay. Go ahead, please.
I wanted to ask at the end, is it proper to also send your CV or yeah, your CV together with as an attachment together with the mail?
You can't do that sometimes. There's no rule that says you can't. You can do
Oh,
that sometimes. Yes. But you know how it is. Sometimes people want to be polite, so you ask first before you send it. But generally, in the system that we run, I don't think anybody will count it against you if you actually sent it with your resume. Nobody would question
mm,
that. Okay. So when we look at balancing, let's look at building balanced communication skills. What does it mean when we say that your communication skills are balanced? It means that you can express yourself clearly, but then you do so by showing understanding of others. This is assertiveness with empathy. That's basically what it means. So how do you build balance? Again, we're going to you in communication you keep hearing these words. Clarity. Ensure your messages are clear to avoid any form of misunderstanding or misinterpretation. Remember, you just sent an email. You're not going to be there to explain to the HR manager or whoever it is you sent it to that, oh, this is what I meant to. This is not what I meant. So you need to have a clear picture before you sit down and you draft that email. So most times you want to think about the situation, the action, and then the result. What did you do? What were you expected to do? Or what was the scenario? What did you do? And then what was the outcome? So if you think about it that way, it helps you to keep things a bit more succinct and concise, but very clear. Active listening, we cannot even overemphasize this, and it's a skill set. So you build it over time. If you find out, if you go home now, you can try it with some of your friends. If they are giving you gist now, not many people have very long attention span. Your friend can be gisting you now, and somehow subconsciously you start pressing your phone, or you be looking for something, or looking at your wrist or something. You can try it with people at home, right? You can try it with people at home. So for you to get better at this, you need to practice. And what it means is that intentionally tell yourself when someone is talking to you that you won't be distracted by any other thing. You will give them your full attention. And we'll look at a few things that show that that's what you're doing. To show that you're actively listening, please always paraphrase. It helps the person know that you're actually listening to them. But what that also does is it helps to provide clarity for you. Non-verbal cues are very, very important. Like I said, there's even stat that shows that 70% of communication is actually your non-verbal. So which means your eye contact, your hand gestures, your body language, your posture, all of that makes up a larger chunk when you communicate than what you're saying in reality. So that's very important. Keep your tone, set this, and this would even differ by culture. It becomes worse, or the scenarios even become more interesting when you're in different cultural settings. So be very intentional about this. Very important. WhatsApp is not email. I have to say this. So some of us get used to using abbreviations, shortcuts, slangs, whatever it is. WhatsApp is not email. Email is professional. So as much as possible, please throw away all your fun things, laughing out loud. You guys know those things. If you know kind of things. No, all those things need to go when you're writing professional emails, because when people tell you for a fact, if I see somebody even writing to me, even on WhatsApp, sometimes I'm like, the time you spent writing all of these things, if you had just added 2 extra characters, you would have spelled the full word. So why was this difficult for you to do? I can't wrap my head around it. Okay, but it is what it is. So I'm just saying that for professional purposes, please remember to keep things professional. I have talked about assertiveness plus empathy is what gives you balanced communication, and here's why. Assertiveness would focus on expressing the needs clearly and confidently. So you're coming to say you want something. You would say it clearly with clarity that a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old can understand, but you do so confidently. And this is not about being egotistical. This is about saying what you're capable of doing because you've done it. Empathy speaks to the fact that you are trying to emphasize understanding and valuing others' emotions and viewpoints. So you can't be in a conversation with someone and that's all you've said is all that you want to stick with. It doesn't work like that. Even if you have differing opinions, you have to listen to what they have to say. And if somebody gives you a perspective that you will never in your life align with, you should be polite enough to try and see things through their eyes and say, okay, maybe if I were in these shoes, I probably would have acted this that they did. So what then happens in the middle of that is that you have self-expression with understanding other people's feelings and perspectives. And that's why you will not go into useless arguments if this is clearly understood and done properly. Okay. So understanding the art of influence, and you hear people tell you that, oh, influence is or persuasion is manipulation. It's not manipulation, please. You build influence by inspiring action through trust. You cannot influence somebody who does not trust you. The reason followers follow leaders is because they trust them. The reason leaders can influence followers is because they trust them. There's some of us that are here now would die for anything that Davido says or Whiskey says or some other social media influencer. Once we just heard this person said it, we are there. We can even kill every other person in our house. We will not. No, they said it. That's what it is. The reason it's that way is because you trust what comes from this person. So influence is like a currency that you acquire over time. And how you get there is by being credible, staying connected, and being purposeful about that relationship. What does this mean? Credibility means that people believe you know your stuff. You cannot influence me. So, for instance, now I tell you I'm good at effective communication, and then you hear me speak and you're like, oh my God, what's going on here? Right? Somebody cannot tell you he's an excellent doctor or he's an excellent surgeon and does not know how to do surgery. You cannot say you're an excellent marketer and yet you cannot market anything to save your life. The minute people know that the value that you say you have is what it is, people begin to trust you, trust your brand, whether it's your personal brand or your professional brand. So credibility is very important. Connection is that you're able to relate to their needs and emotions. If someone says, oh, I want to build a hospital, and you're on a team that's supposed to fund that project, at the beginning, it might seem like it's a useless project. But then the person starts sharing a story around how somebody died in their arms 5 kilometers away from there. And maybe you had similar issues with someone in your family or someone close to you. The minute they say that, so while every other person on that board might be saying there's no money to fund this project, you'll be looking for logical reasons why this should go through because they've been able to connect with you emotionally. And therefore they do that. So if you're able to connect to people's needs and you're able to connect to people's emotions, you're more likely to compel them to move in the direction that you. Clarity, clarity, clarity. I will not say this one again. So how do we influence people to take action? For instance, if I said convince your teammate to adopt your idea or persuade management to extend the project or encourage your peers to join a community initiative, or maybe even to encourage some of your friends to even join this call. You say, oh, next gen is having something, so just come and join, it's going to be power packed and all that. Anybody who came here because you asked them to come came here because of the power of your influence. And that's because they trust you and they believe that what you've told them is credible and that you'll get value for their money. That's why they are here. So I want to ask you a question. Let's try this. Imagine you work for somebody, or let's even use school scenario. So let's say that you're dealing with a lecturer who has given you a task that they want you to submit something in 2 days, but realistically, you know it's going to take 5 days to do. How do you communicate this assertively while keeping their trust and without coming across as being rude or disrespectful? Does anyone have an idea how you think you might want to go about this? Anybody? Again, this place is too quiet for my liking. Are we going to do roll call now in this session? Okay. Grace, can you hear me? Are you there? Cynthia, Kende? She's unmuted. Grace, good. So in your opinion,
I can hear you, ma.
Thank you. So in your opinion, how do you think you can convince your lecturer who has told you, I want this thing submitted in 2 days, but you know in reality, all of you would die. 2 days is not realistic. That it will take at least 5 days to get it done. How do you communicate this without coming across as disrespectful or rude?
Okay, I think last semester we kind of had such a scenario when handling a group project, and to be very sincere, it was very difficult because the lecturer was like, "This is what I want. This is what I want," and we had to plead. That was like the only thing we knew best to do. We had to plead. We were like, "Sir, this thing is. We will do it. We will do it well. We promise to deliver, but sir, this thing is not possible." It was a lot. It was a lot to happen. We had to talk. We made him see reasons. But at the end of the day, I think he did not agree, and we still had to do it within that time frame. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Grace. Thank you. Samantha, I see your hands up. And then after that, Kende, I'm coming back to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma, for this session. So for this, I think I'll begin by telling him how we know that he has invested time in teaching us and he wants an excellent deliverable. So 2 days will not be enough to give him what he wants and what is worth his investment of teaching to us. So if he can please extend the time to so let's say 5 days, so that we'll be able to do that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks for sharing. So if you have a stubborn lecturer like Grace's lecturer, it means that people are going to be in the same boat. Okay, Kende, you still want to go?
Yes, ma. Good evening, ma. Thank you for
Evening.
this question, ma.
Yeah.
Yeah, firstly, me and my team, we know it's not possible for us to finish the project in 2 days. We will definitely during the second day, we'll tell him that, sir, this is where we have reached. And if he's comfortable and if he's fine with it, that okay, you guys are making progress, and we cannot come in like, okay, sir, please can you extend the date to 5 days? And if you say okay, no problem, then we can go along with it, and we make sure we meet up with the 5 days, ma. Thank you,
Okay.
ma.
Thank you so very much. So very valid feedback here. And this is real life dilemma, which is why we're having these conversations. Sometimes it can be very difficult to convince people otherwise, but here's something you could try, right? You could try if it's someone that you've done projects with before, you can say, sir, see, with other projects we always delivered. The last time we asked you that we're going to do this is what we did and we delivered it. We've never defaulted on this, but realistically, we've looked at it, and this is why we can't deliver this. So you give him a detailed breakdown of what it would take to deliver that project. Sometimes he might be aware, other times he might not be aware of the peculiar difficulties that you might encounter that you've looked at that made you say that. So when you bring that to limelight, you then helps you to shift your bargaining a bit. Of course, if he doesn't accept, what Kende says is what you do next. So you work your best to the end of 2 days. And if it doesn't seem like you're going to finish, you go back and negotiate and say, look, this is how far we've come with this. We're very certain that in 5 days we're going to finish this. So please, can you help adjust this? So there's no one size that fits all, and there's no one technique that will work. But you just need to know that for you to convince, you have to earn that person's trust, or would have earned that person's trust enough for you to negotiate. And that means that you then come back to exploit that currency of negotiation, right? During your negotiation, that, oh, my lecturer trusts that I will deliver when I say I will deliver. Therefore, if you say adjust, he would adjust because he knows you will come through. That sort of thing. Okay. Thanks for sharing. And I think that's about the wrap for that bit. So I wanted us to do like a scenario, and I wanted this to be a breakout session, but we're just 17. So maybe we'll just stay in the room and chat. I want to ask a question. If you were in a team and you have two colleagues who are conflicted, so they are not getting along for whatever reason, and you're the team lead, how do you communicate to resolve it? Let's take this home. You live in a house where both your siblings are not getting along because maybe your two sisters are fighting over a very nice looking bag, or that your siblings your elder brother is upset with your younger sibling because they ratted them out because they went out, and it's causing some serious tension in the house. If you're there, how would you communicate to them on how to resolve it? What would you do? Aha, Mujo, I see your hands up. Let's have you take a shot at this one. Go ahead, please.
So thank you, Ma, for this section. So, like, I had like my siblings recently, they had an issue. So my elder sister was at fault, not my younger brother. But I had to like resolve it in a way that nobody's right. Like nobody's right. I'm not like blaming this person on this person's side, at this person's side, supporting the elder one to the younger one. So that's how I resolved it. Like I advise my younger brother on what to do. That this is how you are meant to do this is how you're meant to do this is how you're meant to apologize. And my elder sister, I advise her on how she should relate with her younger brother, that she's the eldest, that she's, even though he's wrong, she's the eldest, so she's the one that has to just resolve everything. So that's how I settle conflicts between the two of them.
Thank you so very much. And what I took out of there is you had to have private conversations with both of them first before you got them to get together. And that's really fantastic. Yeah. Does any other person want to share what they have? Any other person? It's like we like roll call in this class. Oluwadamilare. Samantha, you're up next. Damilare, I'm waiting for you. Samantha, please go.
Okay, so I think one thing that I have learned over time is hearing from both sides individually. And then from that, you can now move forward. Because if you want to listen to just one person, there's a force that he will not mention that will be against him or her. So hear from both sides and then bring them together to understand each other and say, okay, this is where you did wrong, this is where you did wrong. And yes, that is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, very valid. Very, very valid. And just for the sake of time, I would say few things that we should take note of. Samantha and Mojo have really given us the two key things. First is that you need to listen to both sides separately. There's a danger of hearing from just one side because it creates bias. So you want to listen to both parties. When you meet them, you want to ask open-minded and open-ended questions. What questions like, okay, can you talk me through what really happened? So each person gives you like a detailed breakdown of what played out. And then you ask them, how did this affect you? Okay. You want to stay neutral. Don't take sides though. Don't take sides at all. What you want is approach with a problem solving face and not a finger pointing face. Okay. Damilare, I see you came on. Please come and speak. I don't want to do all the talking. Come back on to speak. Yeah.
Okay, good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. So, few of the steps I will try and take is I will try to listen to both parties, which I feel is very much important. Before I can say I want to judge or do anything. And while listening to both parties, I will try to stay neutral and calm in such a way that I won't let my body sign or give any impression that I'm supporting this person over this person. And I'll try to know what actually caused the conflict, what actually led to the conflict, so we can deal with it from the root instead of just taking it from the surface. And I'll just try and see how we can respectfully talk over it and settle it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Dami, for sharing. And Dami has brought to the limelight another perspective, which is he will try to make sure that he settles the issue, bringing them together to have the conversation. Something very important I want to highlight here is to focus on the issue and not the person. So you want to reframe statements like he's always doing that thing, he does not listen to. I think that maybe time frame is a problem here, or I think that maybe keeping this bucket here is always a problem. So what do you guys think we should do? That's where you want to come from. You want to encourage solutions so that it doesn't escalate. And finally, you that is conflict resolutor, I mean, resolving conflict rather. Please be a model of good communication. Rufus, please, can you help me mute whoever is unmuted? Thank you. Okay. They're still joining, I guess. So you have to be a good example of what good communication looks like. Have you ever seen a case where the person who went to separate the fight is now the person who is even getting angry and the case is escalating? That's very possible. So you need to be intentional about staying calm and respectful yourself, and then remind them that you guys are just here to make peace and nothing else. So I would say well done. And this is what you should remember from this conversation, that in every communication, clarity is key, because you know miscommunication can lead to very serious consequences. Active listening is very important because you can only give the right responses when you hear the right things you expected to hear. Building connections through empathy and respect is key. People would always remember how you made them feel, not necessarily what it is that you said. So, how you make them feel is very important. So, as much as possible, try to engage enough to connect with people to get them to do what needs to be done. Lastly, balance assertiveness with empathy. So, while you're being clear and confident, Remember that your perspective is not the only one that exists. And so even though you don't align with it, try to show that you understand. And with that said, we'll get to the bonus part of this. So I will just quickly run over this bit. There's the bit around cold emailing and messaging. And what does a cold email mean? So some of us may have heard it, you may not have heard it. It's an unsolicited message. And if you're a young grad here, what's happening is you're probably sending cold emails right now and messages to people. Someone that you haven't interacted with before for a professional purpose. In your case, you might be seeking a job opportunity at a firm or at a company. Please stay muted if you're not speaking. Okay, thank you. And what it would entail is that your intention is to introduce yourself, what you can do, what you're writing to them for, and you want to establish a connection of some sort so that you can keep reaching out to them for whatever it is. We're going to look at a couple of things that are very important to note in cold emails. First is that there's no prior relationship. So what it means is that your clear communication is then what ensures that your message is understood. You have to be clear about what you're writing the email for. You have to sustain a professional tone. You're writing to either the HR manager or some business manager or somebody who is in a place of authority. So you need to keep your tone right. The purpose might be to request for a meeting, to pitch an opportunity, or to get advice. So be clear why you have written that email. Don't let that email go and leave it vague without any of these things written in there. Make sure it's personalized. So don't do dear sir, dear mar. If you know the name of, find the name of the HR manager and write it. Dear Mr. So. That's what gives it the touch. Remember, if you're looking for a job, you need to know a bit about the company, what they do, and how that relates to your career or your ambition or whatever it is. You have to find a way to synergize what you can do versus what they are looking for or what you think they can offer you. And that's what gives it a personal touch. So your email doesn't sound generic because there are thousands of emails every day. The reason anybody will open yours and look at it is because it stands out. So that's something that you want to take into cognizance. So let's take an example of a badly crafted cold email. And this one says, request for help. Hi, my name is John. I'm a fresh graduate looking for a job. Can you help me get into your company? I have attached my CV for your review. Please let me know when I can start. Even if it's your brother that owns the company. Can anybody tell me what they think could have been done better with this email? Considering we've talked about email etiquette earlier on, what do you think could have been done better with this email? Anybody? Oh, yes. And for those who have spoken, please feel free to continue speaking. If those others on the call don't want to answer us. Daniel, Ashuku, Afolabi, are you on the call? I would like to hear your voice. Dominion says audacity of humanity.
So,
Aha, Mojo, you're speaking. Then Samantha is
so
after
I,
you.
so I feel that he should have requested, like, instead of asking for, I've attached my, like, he's supposed to have used a more formal way of writing the email, and he should have made it direct. He should have gone straight to the point. Not like saying, can you help me get into your company? That's a bad word or bad statement to use for the email. So that's what I
Very
feel.
valid. Very valid. Get into your company to do what exactly? So very, very nice point raised there. Samantha, you're next.
Okay, so I think John get mind sha. Let me start with that. And I think he should have first of all he should have first of all introduced, maybe after the pleasantry salutations and all of that, keep it short too and sell yourself. Just tell us what you can do, the best, brag about yourself, tell us what you can do that is beneficial to the company. I believe John should have maybe research about the company and know what they need, what they do, and align what he does to the interest of the company. Then when he does that and talks about himself, then he can now say that if they are open to receiving this, maybe now or anytime soon. And then he should likely end with expecting a response from you soon. Create that expectation, like let them know that okay, you really want this. But this helped me get into your company. Do you want to come and rob us? Thank you, ma.
So very valid questions you raised here again. Very valid comments you've made here, and I'm glad that the learnings from the previous sessions are playing out here. Very valid. No intentionality around what you can do, selling yourself. Even the subject itself looks very generic and so out of place. Like, how do you mean request for help? Is it an emergency? Right? So all of these things would eventually count. Damilare, your hand was up before we get to Dominion.
Yes, I wanted to talk about the subject because we are sending an email, and most especially in this our country, Nigeria, the moment I see probably you send the email to me and I'm seeing something like request for help, my dear, I'm definitely not going to answer that. I won't even read it first. Because I believe either you need financial help or thereabout. So, but you need a job, you need to be more specific because your subject needs to be catchy or it needs to be more specific so that the person can say, okay, you want to attend to your email. But starting from the subject, that's poor already. And what Faith said, I really, really supported that too. But you have to try and sell yourself and know what you are getting yourself into, not just you getting yourself into any company because you need a job. Saying they should help you get into the company. That's not professional. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing right there and very valid comments you've made. We'll take the last one for Dominion before we show what a good example should look like. Dominion, let's have you have a take on that.
Okay. Number one, according to what he said request for help. Like to start with, I mean, born you. So why will you be requesting for help? Then later on, he said, that, my name is John. John who? I don't know you from Adam. And you're saying your name is John. How do I understand you? Then another thing about writing or communicating with people that I kind of observed and learned is that you must make sure in your writing that you create a line between your desires and the company desires, like what the company needs and what you are looking for. If there is no thin line in that letter that you are or email that you are sending, then I don't think the person actually deserves it. Because look at the email. Can you help me get into your company? I don't understand. Get it to do what? I have attached my CV. Who sent you? Please let me know. This is the part that is annoying me. Please let me know when I can start. Have you been approved? Nobody
Okay.
approved you.
Thank you, Dominion. So we can clearly all see that this is not what good looks like, right? And a valid point that Dominion raised is my name is John. John who? So even if you like you didn't even give me something that if I wanted to go search for you on LinkedIn or on some other platform, I could actually just go look for you. How many Johns exist in the world? So just imagine leaving your introduction so vague that somebody can't even find you. Is how bad this looks. And someone says John Bosco. All right. So on a lighter note, this is not really a great way to put stuff together. Now, what a well-crafted one looks like is something where you have said you're exploring opportunities in the industry and you were inspired by the work of this person. And you said hello, you write your name, the name of the person, rather, and you say, I hope this message finds you well. My name is John Adeyemi. I recently, so now you're giving us where you schooled, who you are, if you've interned in a company before, you might just tell us what you did that made you achieve that as a fresh grad. If you haven't, you can take that out and just tell us that you did a project that's related to this and that's why you're interested. And I'll be grateful if there's an opportunity to connect and learn more about how I can contribute. So you're not saying give me a job, you're saying I would like to even talk to you first to even know the full scope of what you guys offer and how I come in to plug and play, right? And then you could ask, can you have a call? Can you have a chat? And very valid point that Samantha raised when she spoke, she said, Thank you for your time and your which means that you are anticipating something down the line. This is another example of a badly crafted cold email for a job application. So you just say, "My name is Tolu. I studied computer science. I just finished NYC. Can you employ me? My CV is attached." Somebody who is likely to send this is probably someone who met you at a conference as a recruiter. And then after the conference, decided to send you an email and crafted this with the mindset that you guys have already met. So there's no point to be formal. And therefore, they write this. What a good example would be something along these lines. Okay, so let's now look at elevator pitch very quickly. Now this takes between 30 to 60 seconds, so you got like 1 minute. It has to be concise, clear, and compelling because you're selling yourself in 1 minute. Think about the kind of tension that comes with that. Telling somebody that you're who you are and what you can do in just a minute. Basically, an elevator pitch is a very short, persuasive speech, and you have to spark the interest of the person that you're talking to. And then you want to spark their interest about whether it's your idea, your brand as a person, or that's about your organization, whatever it is, you have to spark that person's interest in that 1 minute. So, what are some of the things that we can do? And I want to ask you, if for any reason now, let's say, who is the most popular person that you let's say you want to be, you want to work for Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited. The manager's name is the managing director is Tony Atta. So let's say you happen to be at a conference and you were going up the stairs to your room or to see someone, and you got into the elevator with Tony Atta. You know him by his face. What would you do in that moment as a fresh grad looking for a job? What would you do in that moment to impress him and leave a lasting memory that if you sent a cold email, Tony Atta is more likely to respond to you? What would you do? Anybody with any ideas? Anybody? Anybody? Let's have it come really quickly. We're already running behind time, so I won't take so much time. What do you think we should do? Okay, everybody's quiet. I'm going to just move quickly. Who wants to speak? Okay,
Can you hear
speak.
me?
Dominion, we can hear you.
All right. I'm not too exposed to all this kind of thing, but I will try. So the first thing to do is to, greet formally, good evening, sir, or good day, sir, or anyone. Probably a handshake if possible. In all those formal settings, some people would like handshake for the rest. So you kind of start with, I heard, no, not even I heard. Oh, you are the so of this company, this. I've heard so much about your company. I've heard so much about the progress, and I love what you guys are doing so far. And I don't know, I would like to apply for a job in your company, so role, so on and so forth. And then you start introducing yourself, your CV, your character, everything about you that you've accomplished over the years. Then probably later on you can then continue talking about that things if possible at all.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Dominion. So remember that you have said so many things. Now I want you to think in your head, if you had to do that in 1 minute, what would you would keep and what you would throw away. That's how you want to think about your elevator speech, okay? That you've got a very short time, so you want to stick with the more punchy, more spark interest worthy things. Okay, so that keep that in mind. To Samantha, let's keep it quick. What would it be for you?
Okay. First of all, I'll greet and maybe drop a quick compliment and then tell them how I have learned, maybe one way I've benefited from them, then tell them what I do and how the skills I have and how I'll be able to add value to their company. Yes, then once I'm done, thank them, give my complimentary card, and we move. Ding dong, elevator is now open for everybody to go.
Nice one. So making sure that you've got something that they can follow up with you with, but think about it, he's the MD. Why should he follow up with you? So unless you must have done something really spectacular to keep him interested and intrigued. May work or may not work. All right, Mojo, we'll take your comment and then we'll move.
So the first thing I'll do is that I'll introduce myself to him. Then I'll comment on the things, like, one thing about all these dream employers or employers is that they want to know that they want to know if you know more about them and more about their company and the rest. So I'll just comment on their what do you call it, on their motives and their, like, just comment on their company. Then after that, then I'll introduce my skills and what I can offer to the company and how to improve the company in within a minute.
So good luck with that. And it always would sound like it's an easy thing to do because when you say it, it sounds like you got a lot of time. But when you start putting down who you are, your role or your study area, what you do, that the skill sets you've got, why it matters, what you're bringing to the table, and then what you want next. So, do you want to have a meeting with him? Can I get your contact? Yes, you have to be that audacious. That's why it's an elevator pitch. So, he's less likely to call you, you're more likely to call him. So if you're able to get a meeting, that'll be fantastic. If you're able to get a number, an email, that'll be fantastic. If you're able to just get a handshake and make that impression so that you can exploit an opportunity when next, now he doesn't, now he has you in his mental frame. So if he walks past you right now, he knows that you're going Dominion. You're not just some other random face that just passed him. So if he saw you, for instance, at a major conference in 2024 and you meet him in 2025 and you say, "Hi, good morning, sir. My name is Obain Dominion. We met at Echo Hotels in the elevator while we're going to, and this is How have you been, sir?" It's like, "Oh, Dominion, oh, you were that young chap. Yeah, you talked to me about that." He has your mental picture in frame. Not many young people are that audacious. I can almost tell you here that some people will just be saying, "Hey, God, it's MD of company." Ha! Before they bounce me. What if they shun me? What if they do this? And yes, there are lots of probabilities here that can play out. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't dare, you don't break the protocols. So the fact that you're even audacious to talk to him, one of the reasons you leave an impression. So that's why you're daring to do it. So dare to do it. That's what I'll say to you. Dare to do it. Okay. So we run quickly, and here's the formula. So for a fresh grad, you say, "Hi, my name is Omoyole Murene. I'm a student or a graduate from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, a geology grad from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I'm very passionate about exploration geosciences, and I have worked on XYZ projects that deal with da 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 da. I love to explore how my skills can contribute to Renaissance. I know that you guys are working on XYZ projects currently, and I would like to further this conversation. How do I connect with you, sir?" That's like that kind of thing. So this is what it looks like if you put your name and stuff in there. It's very short, it's very concise, but you see here that your name is there, your degree is there, where you schooled from is there, what your interest is there, what you bring to the table is there, and what your interest with that business is there, and all of it is in 3 lines. So when you're able to put something like this together, then you practice, 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 practice. The trick here is not to sound like it's a sales ad. You want to make it sound natural. So you want to keep it short. You want to speak with energy and gusto. You want to tailor it. So if the manager you're talking to is one that requires you to say Ekurelesa and bend down and give him all the hailings, please do so. You have to match it to your audience, right? Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more natural it comes to you. So it doesn't look forced or that you're trying to sell. No, it will be like a regular conversation. "So how are you doing, sir? My name is Olem. Oh, these days I hear that Renaissance is into that, and you're just going on and you're talking. Make sure you leave an impression. Okay. So to build bridging communication gaps, really, communication gaps is just what happens when what you said versus what was understood does not match. So that space in between is where the gap exists. Now, how and why does this happen? Why it happens is because we all have different communication styles. If you were a Toastmaster, we would say there are 4 key communication styles. So there are people who are direct communicators. They don't on the bush. Go straight to the point. I have a manager that's like that. Now, there are some people who are detailed. They are analytical. They like to give you the smaller details. So, oh, they went to work, they woke up this morning by 11, ate amala and ewedu, entered the bus. The conductor did not give them that before they not tell you that, oh, I got to the office and finally sent the email. A direct communicator just wants to hear, I have sent the email. You need to take note of all of these things, right? You need to take note of all of these things. You can also have people who generally like to talk about, they like fairy, they like the fluff of the weather, the time of the day, before they get to whatever it is they want to say. Now, if you're dealing with a direct the person who likes to beat around the bush, you're in serious trouble because the person just naturally assumes that it's wasting their time and therefore they don't listen to you. So there are instances where my manager had said, please go straight to the point. And in my head, I'm saying, why is this man so rude? Like after all this work I've gone through and suffered, you don't even want to hear me break it down, tell you how many Excel sheets I use and how I process. He doesn't want to hear. What he just wants to hear is, how does this help me solve my problem? So if you're having that, that can actually cause a communication gap. There are cultural differences. And this is very important. I've said this many times. What you might do in Europe will not apply in Africa, may not even apply in Nigeria, and may not even apply in your house. So you need to take note of all of this things. For us, tone, hierarchy, and politeness is very important. Generational differences, we know all these things. We talk Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, baby boomers, and all of that. Imagine using your Gen Z slangs. Maybe you meet an average Nigerian boss who is in the baby boomer generation, expects you to come in the morning and say, "Oh, good morning, sir. How are you doing?" Da 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 da. And an average Gen Z person will walk into the office and say, "What are you doing? You have caused problem. There's no greeting. You are rude." Next thing you know, they'll just say, all these Gen Z people don't have respect in this office. You don't want to be there. So if you're in a professional environment, you want to try as much as possible to eliminate slangs that others can't even understand. When somebody writes laughing my ass, LOL or LOML, or I don't even know how to call these things. There's so many things and we use them a lot these days, and they are regular conversations. But if you're going to be communicating with people who are not in the same generation with you, it's enough to cause a lot of problems. And you may not even understand that that's what's actually getting them upset with you, because they might not even tell you. So that's something you want to pay attention to. Then emotional filters. People might go through a lot in Nigeria. Like a lot is even going through us in the country. So sometimes when people don't engage the right way, you want to check whether you're talking to them at the right time, in their right of mind. So if you work with someone that you notice gets explosive when they've walked long into the day, something you want to then do is make sure that the important conversations happen much earlier in the day when they are fresh and they are good, and then you can have the conversation. So be able to read people. That's what I'm saying. So if it looks like somebody looks stressed, it's not likely the best time to discuss something that might be emotionally stressful with such a person. Bias exists and we all have it, both conscious and unconscious. If someone comes here and I say, all Igbo people are like this, or all Yoruba people are like that, or all those things exist. So things can also cause gaps in communications, because biases will lead you to make assumptions that may not be real, because that person is the person before they belong to a tribe or a region or whatever it is. So you need to take note of this. So how does this then affect communication? You have missed opportunities. So imagine if you were talking to someone who expected you to be respectful, speak proper, eloquent English, and you were using slangs to talk to the person. You could miss an opportunity. It could cause conflicts and misunderstandings. I think we talked about this. You could damage relationships because somebody misunderstood what you meant for something else. It can reduce trust and teamwork. So those are the key things, and they're very important things. So how do you bridge the gap? The most important way is that you want to slow down to confirm. Listen actively. Ask clarifying questions. Did you mean this or did you mean that? Look at your audience and adapt to it. Your level of adaptability to a very large extent determines how effectively you communicate. How will this person understand what I'm saying, and how can I engage this person enough for the person to get what it is I'm saying? Avoid jargons. We've talked about this. And please always paraphrase to be sure that what you heard is actually what was meant. What are some of the tools that could help you for better communication? Email etiquette. Excellent email etiquette would carry you to places that your mouth may not even be able to carry you to. Video call best practices. If you're in a meeting like this and you're on a video call, so you see how Dominion is at the beach somewhere in Miami, join us on this call. Please keep your background clean. Let's not see what we're not supposed to see. Be properly dressed. And when we say be properly dressed is very important because we've had stories and I've been in meetings where people showed up on the display screen nude without realizing that their cameras were on. So those are the things that you don't want to do. So if you have a formal meeting and you're going to join and you know you're going to turn on your video, please make sure that your space is properly decluttered. Use stories to connect. We are Nigerians, we like gist. Even in an interview, when they ask you, so have you ever been able to resolve conflict between two people? Make it like serious gist. So I remember this one time. I had these two very interesting people in my office. Tolu was always looking for Michael's trouble. And this one day, give it like this. It's a speech you're giving, So forget that you're in an interview. There's how you tell your story in an interview that you leave a lasting impression with the HR people. And it's very important. Cultural awareness. Please, what a fist raised by mean in Yoruba land may be different from what it means in Igbo land. So you have to be culturally aware, know where you're going to, so you act according to what's expected in that climb. So you're not violating certain things. Finally, your nonverbal cues are everything. Your body tells the story that your mouth will not tell. Folding your arms in front of you is considered defensive. Not making eye contact seems like you're sneaky. There are just very little subtle things that you could do with your body that shows that you're neither engaging or communicating the right way. So you want to take those out of place. We won't have a time for this because I need to rush over this. If you have any questions around this, we can have it. So the takeaway from this is that gaps are natural. So it's very easy for us to communicate right. But once you find them, please close them. And how can you do this? Communicate with clarity, with empathy. Try to understand. If you're communicating with someone who is not as learned as you are, you cannot speak in the language that they don't understand. As a professional, I go to sites for field work and I have to deal with people who did not go beyond primary school. So sometimes I have to speak pidgin English to get them to do what it is I want to do. So you have to learn to do that. It's very important because you want the message passed across. I would rather speak pidgin than find out that somebody fell off something because he was not wearing a safety harness. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay? And if you have to be a great communicator, you have to be a great listener. Overcoming the fear of public speaking. This is pretty much what we do in Toastmasters. Why would nerves wreck you and your entire system? Why do we fear public speaking? I put up this for the rest of us in the room, but usually it wouldn't go beyond the scope of what you see on the screen, where you fear being judged or criticized, your past experiences. Maybe you got up to speak in class in secondary school and you did not say the right words and everybody laughed at you. And since then till now, if you're in a meeting, you don't want anybody to hear your voice because that thought won't just leave your head. Some people are traumatized by things like that, right? Some people were mocked by how their body shapes looked. And because they didn't want people to see their bodies, they don't speak till now and they have anxieties. It's a real thing. Lack of preparation and practice. I always ask people, if someone told you that you were coming to a place to speak and they said all they were going to ask you when you get there is your name, would you be scared? Would you be nervous? Can I get any responses in the chat box or anything? If you were going for you're going to give a TED talk and they said when you get there, all you have to talk about is your name. Are you going to be anxious in any way?
No.
Clearly. And the reason is simple, because you know your name. That's why you're not going to be nervous. You know your name. So think about every presentation that you have to give in that context and in that light. If you're familiar with your subject enough for you to discuss it to a 5-year-old or just about anybody, when they say come and talk, you're less likely to shift into the corner. You want to say it because you know it and you feel like what you're saying is going to help people. So you come out and you say. Some people are scared because they exhibit physical symptoms, and it's so bad for some people. You see them physically tremble. Some people sweat profusely. It's so bad, right? It's so bad that it gets really upsetting. So the more they start exhibiting these symptoms, the more agitated they get, and that's why they don't like to speak in public. So what are some of the things that we can do? If you cannot speak, someone else will say what it is that you had in your mind. In fact, we've had instances where people can be in a meeting, they had the better idea, they did not say it, and someone else came and said what they were going to say, took the glory, took the bonus, took everything, and left. I'm sure when you go home and you sit in the corner, you'll be like, God, why did I do this to myself? I could have been the one on that vacation. I could have been the one who collected this 100,000 naira. Why didn't I see opportunities? With the fear that you cannot speak, because you learn by doing. So never get up to speak. You would never overcome your fears. And that's how you also don't know whether you can communicate concisely or clearly, because you've never even given yourself a chance to do so. You would have it very difficult. You'll be socially awkward. That's how much fear can cripple you. You'll be socially awkward. If you go outside and people are talking, even at social gatherings, you struggle to engage people. You cannot even say somebody, oh, hi, my name is this. I'm that, I'm the friend of so person. You can't even do it. Once you get to the party, you just sit in your corner, hold your juice or your drink, eat your cake in peace, eat your food, and go back home. That's all. You won't try to interact or meet people on network or anything like that. That's what this fear can do to you. So what can we do to get better? Prepare thoroughly. If you're going to make a presentation, please know your topic and know your audience. Don't prepare presentation for teenagers, for adults, and vice versa. If you're going for a conference, make sure you know it's a technical presentation. Prep like you're going for one. If you're having a social hangout, prepare your speech, language, tone, everything speaks to the social bit of it. Anticipate possible questions. You don't have to know everything. And it's okay for you to say, oh, I don't have the answer to this, but I can explore and then we can connect much later for me to give you feedback. That's okay too. There is nothing as practicing in your head. Excellent speakers have to rehearse, and you have to rehearse loudly. You might have to talk to a mirror. You might have to record yourself. You might have to speak in front of your granny, your family, your friends who don't take you seriously, whatever it is. But you need something that reflects to you what you are about. Because the more you say it, the more your brain tends to register it. So you cannot rehearse in your head. 2, reframe your mindset. Focus on the fact that whatever it is you're saying is helping somebody, is inspiring someone, is going to push someone to do something, to know something, to get better. Don't think about impressing. That's where your problem starts from, because after all this baffle like this, I will now come and fold my hand. God, I beg. So in reality, what you want to do is focus on, oh, this speech I'm going to give help me get through this emotional challenge. I think if I share this story, some other person in the crowd may benefit from this. That's a fantastic way to look at it. See your audience as allies and judges. In reality, nobody really sits in the audience and says, I wish as she's speaking now, her leg would just twist like this, she will now fall like this, or she will tumble. Nobody thinks that. Nobody in the audience honestly says, oh, I wish as you're speaking, you will stutter and forget the words that you want to say. No, everybody in the audience is looking up to what it is you want to say. So you have to refrain to think that way and use positive self-talk. Tell yourself you're capable, you could do this, and this is for a greater good. Just talk to yourself in a positive light. Don't down talk yourself. Okay? Manage your nerves. Always breathe deeply before you start. If you have nerves are natural, like no matter how many times I've spoken at events, every time I have to get on the stage, I get nervous. Some of us, it will show up as you want to pee. Some people is they want to use the confidence to poo. Other people, they start having wet palms and all of that. It's natural. Nerves show that what you're going to talk about is important to you. That's why you're that way. But you find that once you're able to take a deep breath and calm yourself, once you start speaking, you just go into rhythm. So it's very important. Ground yourself. Don't try to hang one leg on the other leg, please. Make sure that you're balanced. Feet solidly on the floor. Relax your shoulders and then smile. I will tell you how much a smile can change the outlook of any presentation. The minute you walk into any room and you're giving a presentation, you're going to engage people and you smile at people. The minute you climb that stage, everybody starts smiling. It's contagious. So you wear it like a crown, right? Because it helps people to relax and you also to relax. Start small and practice. Test with your smaller groups, your friends, your cliques. You can even find little children around your area and teach them about something that they know. Just start small. Okay, join supportive clubs like Toastmasters so you can reach me if you are interested. Record yourself and review. That's how that help you with that. PowerPoint allows you to rehearse. It has a rehearse coach. So if you have a presentation or you put your slides together, use the rehearse coach feature. It would give you feedback after you're done with your rehearsals. Use stories and structure. I think I've talked about how this is important. And remember that every good speech starts with an opening, a body, and a closing. Your opening and closing are not tradable. Prepare. As in, you want to show up and say 5 reasons why people die in country is because hold us spellbound. Let us be waiting for what she wants to say. Don't show up at the meeting just saying, yeah, statistics show that 5 people in countries. No. Come with drama. Be very clear and confident when you start because it lays the foundation for how you progress with the rest of your speech. Okay? Same as your closing. So, what are the key takeaways here? Fear is normal. I've said this, but it's manageable. So, just think about the right things, prepare, have the right mindset and practice, and you'll be a very confident person. Remember, your voice matters. Oh, if you don't say what it is you want to say, somebody else will say it and they will not say what it is you want to say. So, you might as well just say it anyways. Thank you. And Faith, I hope I was able to hit your 5-minute mark. And if I have any questions, I'll take them now. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Thank you. Like, this was really a very powerful session. It was incredible. Like, it was powerful indeed. Thank you for the practical insights on effective communication. And to be honest, I learned a lot, and I'm sure many of us also learned a lot. Like, I saw a lot of things that I have been doing wrong. Like, I've been communicating the wrong way and all. Thank you. Thank you for showing us the way. We are grateful, ma. And please, if you have any question, you can unmute your mic and ask your question, but you have to first signify with a raise of hand. So please, if you have any question, please raise your hand. And then, ma?
Mojola's hand is up.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Mojola.
All right, thank you so much, man, for this section. So I do have like social anxiety, and it's very, 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 very severe. Like in the sense that I know what to say, but like once I'm up the stage or there, like I just go blank. I know what to say, but like I just start stuttering and mixing things up. So that's how do you overcome that kind
So
of
maybe the
fear?
first question you want to ask yourself is, what are you really afraid of? What are you afraid of?
My fear is that fear of not like fear of fucking sorry for the wrong word, fear of like not doing it right.
So say it how you feel it, because it's in saying how you feel it that you're able to x-ray. So you need to ask yourself, what is my real fear here? Right? So if it's your fear of not doing it right, why do you think you're not going to do it right? Are you ill prepared for this session? Do you think you've practiced enough to get on the lectern, on the podium to speak? Right? Now, if it's coming from a place of trauma, it's a bit more difficult than what an average person would deal with. What I mean is, if you're the person who was always historically being shut down, or you had an experience that eventually made you just go quiet and stop talking, you probably would need to resolve that trauma to a certain extent for you to be able to do that. But an easy way to work it is tell yourself, and that's where the mindset thing comes in. It's a psychological thing. So you tell yourself, I'm not doing this because I want the applause. I'm doing this because I want to get better. So mistakes are allowed. Mistakes are okay.
And I do have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like if I'm giving a presentation or something, because I'm not usually used to like coming out and talking and like coming out to present or to talk to people, especially officials or something like that. The thing that I tend to use that there's one like I think it's jargons or something that you said previously. I tend to use it because I would have forgotten that it's not my friends I'm talking to. Then if I want to now correct myself, the deed has already been done. So how do you work on that aspect too?
So if it's an official presentation, it means that they notified you that you were going to talk about something, right? So like today's session, they told me I was going to come here and talk to you about effective communication and influence. So what that meant was that as part of building my confidence for this engagement, I had to put together the content. I had to go through it. I had to practice my sequence of delivery. Like, the kind of things you do just to make sure that everything goes seamlessly. if it is a prepared scenario. So much so that because it's important. So I remember I mentioned to you at some point that before you give a speech, you have to know your topic and know your audience. So if you're going to talk to government dignitaries, for instance, you have to know what protocols exist. So you're not just showing up there and just hailing everybody like you hail everybody normally, right? If you're going to have to deal with church people, is there a hierarchy that you have to honor when you start? You would not take what happens in a secular space and take to a religious space. They're two different spaces. So context would matter in this instance. So your preparedness is one of the reasons you would not go and use jargons. So that's why I tell people, if you have a speech to deliver and you've been given time, if you have a month, start preparing from a month. Because what that does for you is if you draft your speech, you start practicing, by the end of the second week, you are already familiar with your script, like the documented thing that you've written. You're familiar with your script. Now, what you're going to start learning is how to infuse things like your body language. How am I using my hands to emphasize what I want to say? How do I maintain eye contact? What descriptions do I want to use? What illustrations do I want to use? But you see the bit around figuring out what comes next after the next thing you said after that, it stops being a problem because you're now familiar with your script. If you leave it for last minute, what usually happens, and that's why when you go to presentations, you see people will dump a lot of things on slides, is because you're not prepared. And because you feel that everything that you want to say is important. So you carry everything that is in your Word document and put in your PowerPoint so that you don't forget to say there's something you're not forgetting to say. Try it. I'm almost daring you to try it. If you're going to do any presentation in school or outside of school, start preparing at least 2 weeks before that event if you have the time. Put your slides together on time. Take your time to edit it. Memorize. What I mean is not exactly memorize. The more you practice and go through the script, it sticks. So I'll give you an instance of how this works. Have you ever been in a place where someone plays a certain music constantly? Even though you don't like the song, you just wake up one morning and find out that you can sing the song.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens. If you give your brain enough visuals, enough information consistently and repeatedly, after a while, your subconscious maps it. So if they tap you and say, "Oh, Mojola, come and talk to us about this," you will just go, like you start rattling because you're familiar with it. But if you've not had time to plan, put stuff together, get familiar and practice, you start panicking because you're not sure. Do I remember, okay, if I should say is here, which paragraph comes before the other paragraph? I don't even know, the transitions between the paragraphs of what I want to say. And that can be very distressing. So it's the reason you can then meet people and then you start getting nervous. The second thing is it's normal for you to see people who are bigger, older than you, as in by hierarchy, maybe very popular people or famous people or influential people, and feel a certain way. You build confidence gradually. What you just want to do is start small. So I'm going to challenge you. Start small. In your class, if you're still in school, in your class, when it's time to talk about stuff, don't shy and stay in the background. Lend your voice to something. If you're out of school, if you're a Muslim, where you have your meetings, in church, where you have your engagements, in your social gatherings, your friends, don't be that person who just generally stays in the background. If they're discussing very serious issues like education, politics, and all that, and those are the things that interest you, don't keep your knowledge to yourself. Share it. You find that the more you start talking in those spaces, the more you are likely to engage comfortably when you meet people who are not even your friends, because you've now built the skill set and consciously tailoring your actions to become a better communicator. I don't know if what I've said is helpful.
Yes, it's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's just practice, practice, practice. You need to be intentional about how you're engaging and you get better at it. I promise you.
All right, well, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I will now yield the floor back to Faith to continue with the session. Faith, thank you. And thanks guys for having me join you. Yes, and I'm officially going to invite all of
Thank
you
you.
to my Toastmasters meeting on Tuesday next week. I've asked Rufus to share the invite. So for those of you who are available and you want to learn more about public speaking and engaging and all of that, it's a great opportunity. It's a gathering where people come to improve their communication skills, and it's a no judgment zone. So if you do something that is not right, you're not told outrightly that this is bad. You're told this is something you can improve upon, and there's always something good that you've done around that. So you learn all of that. So just joining the meeting and see what happens in those meetings would help you. I'm actually delivering a speech on that day anyway, so come see me as well if you can. Samantha, your hand is up. Hope fate will not sacrifice both of us.
It's not a question. I just wanted to say thank you for today's session. You were speaking about communication, and we could just feel the flow. We didn't just hear it, we felt it as you spoke, and how everything just went, we assimilated. Our attention we're hooked to the teaching. So thank you so much for embodying all the wonderful things you taught us, and it was a memorable one tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the feedback, Samantha. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, Ma, thank you so much once again. I actually had a question. Okay, let me make it quick. When you're talking about cold emailing, most times when we send emails like that, it's kind of feel awkward, yes, and intrusive. Like it feels somehow. So what is the secret to make it more effective and not annoying? So the other person will feel like, what kind of thing is it? Just entered my DM, like there was a scenario that happened not quite long. I messaged someone like I haven't messaged before. I actually it took me a very long time for me to actually put up that message because I felt really awkward and weird, but I just had to push myself. And it took like a month before the person responded. So what is that one secret that can make it more effective and not annoying? Thank you, Ma.
So thanks again for raising that very valid question. I think that it's not just one thing. The reason is a cold mail is because you don't know this person. But in the world that we live in, cold emailing is allowed, cold messaging is allowed, right? If you're seeking an opportunity, I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, you're talking to millions of people across the globe. So it's allowed. Here's what you don't want to do. You can't get into someone's DM without introducing yourself to them. And you have to show that you're genuinely interested in whatever it is that they are about, right? I cannot come and say, I want to ask you. It's like I'm coming to ask you for a favor and I'm not explaining to you why I like you. I don't know if that makes any sense, right? I cannot come and say, I want something from you and I'm not telling you why I think you're the right person to give me that thing. So, whatever cold email you're sending has to sound genuine. You can't fake it. If you're going to write to Simon Sinek, you guys know Simon Sinek or Adams Grant, to say, oh, I love your book on XYZ. And I love that you have to have read the book. So that when you're telling him what you loved about the book and how that was engaging, it sounds honest, genuine. Okay? If you, unless you've mastered this, it's difficult for you to tell someone that you want something for them without being honest about what it is that you want. So remember to introduce yourself clearly and properly. That's very important. We talked about that here. Let them know who you are. So what qualifications do you have? What can you do if it's for a job? If it's for networking purposes, just say who you are, what you do, and tell them how you're interested in what they are about. So if they are into research, you tell them what you liked about their most recent research. If they're authors or writers, tell them what you liked about their latest books. You have to be involved. When you write that way, it just shows the person that you've taken your time, you're legit, and you're serious. Now, these people receive thousands of emails from different. If you're in HR, you understand. I have a few friends who are in HR, and they can tell you for a fact. Some of the emails that you send are not even reviewed by people; they are reviewed by technological tools. They just ask them to filter out specific things. So the first level of screening is not even done by a person; it's done by a machine. So for those who like to do copy and paste, that's where your resume ends and that's where it goes. So they receive a lot of emails. People send lots of cold emails and messages to very popular people. You should expect that. Some of them are rather busy. So what I mean is, if you receive over 1,000 emails in it, as a person, think about it, Faith. Are you going to be able to read all 1,000 emails? It's not realistic and it's not practicable. So they're human beings like you. They probably pay people to screen and look through these things, and sometimes it might take time. Which is why when you then write a cold email, you want to write it in such a way that you sound appealing. So much so that if the person just sees your head and be like, oh, this looks interesting. And then they read the first paragraph and say, oh, this looks like good content. And they continue reading. So you want to avoid everything generic. Avoid this like a plague. Don't do anything that's generic. All you want to do is write to stand out. But you cannot write a cold email without genuine interest, whether it's a business, it's an individual, whatever it is. You have to show genuine interest and tell them why you think that they are the person or they are the business for you. Samantha, Faith, I hope I've been able to address your question. Faith? Thank you, Mohammed. I see your comment. Thank you. I think they've carried Faith to where we don't know.
I'm back, ma. It was my network.
Okay, welcome back.
Yes, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you
You're
so much for
welcome.
this, for throwing more lights. We really appreciate you, ma.
You're
So
welcome.
we are really far behind time. We've spent so much time, and it's because it was powerful. I really enjoyed every bit of the session. Thank you so much once again, ma. So okay. We have to round up now. Thank you so much to our speaker once again, and to our partners, to our sponsors, and to our organizers and team. I want to say a big thank you to every one of us for taking out time to be here this evening. It's really worth it. And I know a lot of us can testify to that you've learned a lot this evening. So before we call it a night, I want to announce a new partnership. We actually are partnering with LawMind and Law Hub, and the law firm is offering 40% and 50% discount to business owners and to entrepreneurs. You can get your business or company registered, and with just 50K, you can register your business name, and 100K to get your company registration done. And also, we want to thank our lead sponsor, Eco Origin, for the sponsorship of this next generation leadership training 2025. Eco Origin's commitment to sustainability and youth empowerment aligns perfectly with the vision of raising the next generation of purpose-driven, true and selfless leaders. With their incredible support, this year's training has been very, very impactful. Thank you so much, Eco Origin, for believing the future of true and selfless leadership. Thank you so much once again. Thank you everyone for being here. It was really awesome. Thank you for your engagement, for your questions, for your ideas. Thank you so much. So wow. Now we can actually call it a day. Thank you, Ma. It was really a nice time with you here. Thank you so much. And yes, we were talking about the Toastmasters club. I know a lot of us here would really love to be part of that club. So you said we should reach out to you, Ma. How do we do that?
Okay, so Rufus would be your focal person. Being a member
Okay.
requires some membership dues and payments and stuff like that. So that's really not what I'm getting into, because you're students and early career professionals. So you may not be able to afford the dues. But I do know that just being in those 2-hour meetings can be transformative. So you see people start from the scratch, start their journeys, and just watch them grow and become better and confident, because some of these meetings encompass trainings around things we've discussed today. how to speak with confidence, how to overcome your fears. People will deliver speeches that would inspire you from their own place. So I'm just saying, I've sent Rufus the invite, so he can send it to you. It's a hybrid meeting, the next one, but you could just join via Zoom and listen in whenever you can. The meeting starts at 4:15 in the evening and ends around 6:15. So whenever you dial in, it's fine, and just come gain some insights. And if you do, you might want to share that with other people that might benefit from it as well. So that's why we're having the conversation, really. Thank you.
All right, now thank you so much. Let me say this before I leave the floor for Mr. Rufus. There was something that really resonated with me, which was you actually said if you have to be a good communicator, you have to be a good listener, and that really actually made sense to me. Thank you, ma. And yes, I remain your moderator. I'm Faith Serena, and it was really a great honor to moderate this session. And I look forward to seeing everybody, to seeing the leader in us shine brighter from here. Thank you. So, Mr. Rufus.
All right, welcome to the Next Gen Leadership Training Program once again. I want to say thank you so much to Coach Olem. The Toastmaster has, should I say, sometimes they call lots of persons from the Toastmasters coach. Like last week Friday, we had a president from Abuja. That's Abdul Karim Abubakar Adeiza from Kogi State. He's also a president of Toastmasters in Abuja. We had him talking about capacity development and how we can use it to sharpen our leadership skills. So thank you so much. We are blessed with Toastmasters. Please let's put our hands up for them. Please clap, clap, clap. Put your hands together for them. All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate you, ma'am. It's I don't really know how to say the thank you because it's overwhelming to just give a short notice and voila, you're here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And to our sponsors, we also want to give a shout out to Echo Origin one more time. Thank you so much for seeing what Impact Community is investing in investing in the next generation of leaders. And thank you to all of our speakers. We know they will also watch this video. Thank you to all of our speakers. I want to say a big thank you. And to everyone who has actually been committed, I want to say thank you so much. It's one thing to register for a conference, for a training such as this that is taking place for 4 weekends. And it's also one thing to be very consistent and committed with it. And I must commend few persons. I don't know if the rest are online now. I must commend Mojo. I must commend Samantha. I must commend Dominion. He knows himself already. And also I must commend Afolabi. It has actually been wonderful. You guys have been excellent. And we also have Kehinde here. Yes, she has. It has been wonderful to see you guys here. And we're taking this to another level. After tonight, from now till Friday, there is actually a gift that will be given out, sponsored by the Echo Origin. Now you go to your LinkedIn, make a post about what you've learned so far from day one to today. And you post on LinkedIn and also on Instagram. You tag Impact Community, please take notes, you tag Impact Community, you tag Echo Origin, and you tag the speakers so far and how they have impacted you. Probably after your comment about them, you tag them, then you go to the next one, you also tag them. Then the hashtag will be sent to your mail. We'll send the boss messages where you get the hashtag that we want you to use. So tag us, and the person with the highest engagement, both on Instagram and on LinkedIn, will receive a gift. So, and by Friday, we'll be announcing the person that got the highest. So it closes on Thursday. So we'll be able to check for everyone who took part and so please make sure you engage in this. Tag everyone, tag the speakers. You can tag me as well. You can tag Faith. So please do well to engage, and we'll see you guys next week. All right. So we can have a closing prayer now, right? Let's have a, who can we have? Okay, Mojo, you can pray for us. Let's give it a close. I wanted to call the other Abdul. Mojo, can you hear me? All right. Kendi, if you can hear us, please pray for us, ma'am. I guess she's off also. All right, Samantha, it's over to you. You can pray for us, please, Samantha, if you can hear me.
Are you sure you will not say the prayer?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Father, for everything. We bless your holy name for tonight. As we go for everything we've learned from yesterday to today, we ask, oh God, that you give us the enablement to put them into practice in the name of Jesus. As we meet again next week, we ask for a fresh mind and a willing heart to learn all what you have to teach us next week. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Just a little tip, next week
Amen.
we'll be talking about conflict resolution. And we'll also be having the CEO of Eco Origin here and Christian Ayafo. So do well to be around. Conflict resolution. We'll see you guys next week, Friday. Do have a wonderful night rest. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, sir.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, my Father, Jesus is Lord.